Hey everybody. The 2008 Saturn Astra has a leaky inner CV joint on the drive axle for the passenger side or right side. So we're going to replace that today. So here's our replacement part. It's a track motive. Fits my car. There's the outer. There is the inner joint. Let's get this out. There's not a weight on this that you can see. I think the one on my car comes with a weight on it, but I don't think it's necessary to have it on there. So we'll check that when we get there. I also need to check to make sure that I don't need, or that I do need, this piece right here. There's a removable piece here at the end of this, but I believe that mine, I think this is exactly the same thing that I've got in the car, so I think this should just go right in. Alright, so let's take a look at our steps for the day. So obviously I need to jack the car up, but before I do that, I am going to pull this little cap off where I have access to the axle nut, and I'm going to loosen the axle nut from there. Then I'll jack the car up, and what we'll have to do is remove the wheel. We're going to have to take the outer tie rod loose. We're going to have to, I may even take the brake stuff off, I'm not sure yet, but we need to take it all loose from the ball joint, lower control arm ball joint. And I also need to take the spindle loose from the strut, pull it aside, and then that way I can get the axle out when I do that. And then we should be ready to pull the axle out. Pop it loose from underneath. It runs across underneath there to the transmission, and I can pop it out of that side there, and then we replace it with the new one. Now I should have also loosened the lug nuts when I had it on the ground, but because it's a front wheel and the axle's still in it, and it's in park, I should be able to get them loose even though it's up in the air already. Alright, so it's kind of early in the morning, so we may have a little bit of a shadow or lighting issue, but here's what I got to do down inside of here. Get my head in the wheel well. Tie rod end needs to come off here. I'm gonna have to take the knuckle loose from the strut, and the bottom, the lower ball joint on the knuckle needs to come off. So this whole assembly needs to be able to come this way and swing out of the way. Once I take the axle nut the rest of the way off, we'll push the axle back through there, and you can see it's right here, runs back through into the transmission. Let's see here, let me move this brake hose. See that weight right here? This right here, this is a weight that kind of slides on there. My replacement doesn't come with one of those, and I don't know that I need it actually. I did a little reading last night online on some forums and mechanic sites and whatnot, and they said, no, you don't actually need it, and so a lot of replacement parts don't come with those, so not to worry about it. And then way back in there, it goes into the transmission. So when I pull that out, it may drain a little fluid out, so I want to catch that or have a pig mat or something down for that. Alright, that's our task. Sticks in. These are 18s. I don't have an 18 socket for some reason, so I gotta use this wrench. Oh, other way. Also don't have my glasses on, so. Okay. I don't know if I can get this one in here. Alright, we'll get a hammer, see if we can pop these loose. I better disconnect the brake hose and brake line and speed sensor line. These take 18s, and I got only a 19 socket, so I'm just kind of loosely on the head of that bolt. But it's working, it's loose enough. It's not great, but a little faster. Now it's still a little tight. Alright, everybody close your eyes. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but these are splined at the top, see? So, once they're in there, that initial turning is good, but kind of get out of the splines and you got to sort of hold both ends. Alright. I have this loose from the ball joint on the bottom, and I've also kind of pried the it's the kind of retaining bolt is all it is down there, and I have that kind of pried open a little bit, so hopefully I'll be able to just lift it out of there. I should probably get a bungee strap and get it ready to go. Okay. I gotta get something better to pry with. I was trying to pry that, see if we can get this where you can see it. Trying to pry that little retaining piece from the lower ball joint, and it bent my Little tiny pry bar. I gotta get a bigger tool. Got it. Now, got a little ahead of myself. Should have taken the rest of the way off before I popped it out of the ball joint. Let me see if I can jack stand under that. There we go. Oh. Be right back. Come on. Dirty dog. I had to put that nut back on there a little bit and get a little bigger hammer. 2-pound hammer. Soft mallet was not getting her done. But I think we're able to get it out of here now. Maybe. There she goes. I got it supported by a bungee strap, but I'm going to go ahead and put this. Whoops, my strap came loose. Actually broke. Break? Just came apart. There we go. Okay. There we go. Stay. All right. Now I gotta go under and pop that out. Alright, I'm under here. It's not a great angle. I may not be able to get this from this angle. But let's see what we can do here. And I apologize for the bad camera stuff because I'm on the ground trying to get this. Actually, that's part of the problem is that since I'm on the ground, I can't really use a very long pry bar. So my leverage is kind of messed up. Let me check this. Light gravity down into the pan, so if I get it, I may have to save my light from the trans fluid if any leaks. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to try a different angle and a different pry bar, and I may not be able to film it, so let me do my best here. Alright, funny thing is I just actually came out here and gave it a little tug from this end and it came right out. So I don't know if I pried it loose in there or probably not. I just came out here and grabbed it and boom, there it came. Alright, I got it out of there and I'm now comparing it to the new one. The new one is on the back here and this is the old one came out, in case you can't tell. Alright, it looks like that's all the same. And it looks like yep, that all looks the same. And that seal stays on there. Got a C-clip there, or circlip there. Got a new axle nut with the new axle. The only thing, as I mentioned before, that's missing on the new one here is this, oops, sorry, bumped you guys, is this little rubber, I think it's a little balancing weight or something in there, but it's just basically rubber, almost like a bushing. It doesn't have any function in terms of securing the axle in any way. It's just on there, I think, for a dampener or something like that. Again, my own reading and research says that I don't need that on there. And that most replacement parts don't actually come with it. So I'm just gonna go with that and hope for the best. You can actually see here, I don't know if you can in the camera, see if I can get you a little closer here, where there's kind of a little bulge right here in this axle shaft. It's missing from here, so it looks like maybe these maybe were two pieces at one point and were put together. Maybe that's why they needed this to kind of balance out this. I don't know. New one doesn't have it. We're going to assume it doesn't need it, and we're going to go from there. All right, let's see if we can offer up this new one in place of the old one. This guy does not want to stay secured. Sorry you can't see anything. I gotta go under. I believe that's in place. Now for the hard part. wrestled with that thing. Ball joint back together. Baby. What's the problem? Okay. Alright, strip bolts are started back in, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but tie rod end is gonna fit right there. Okay. I think I'm ready to tighten everything up and then set it on the ground and get this axle nut tight. I'll just cinch it in right now. Little fluid film. Okay. Oh, sorry. Make sure you didn't get moved. Okay, I think you can see what I'm doing there. I hope, anyways. The lighting's bad, I apologize. I gotta get a longer pry bar, hang on. Just turn it in there. All right, I gotta move you. You're right where I need to be. All right, tie rod end is tight. I'll put final torque on these here. I'll probably move my jack over so I can raise it up so it's level before I get everything tightened up. I still need to tighten up the little pinch bolt, retaining bolt on the ball joint as well. But let me put a little more torque on this axle nut. Okay, I got it snug. I'll put final torque on it when I get it on the ground again, so I have the wheel to use to help me out there with the keeping it from. I should be able to spin it even with the way it is, since it's in gear. Right, it doesn't turn, but I think I'll do it the other way instead. All right. Put my little brake line back on and it's clipped. You guys may not even be able to see that. Let me check my zoom. So I just put this wheel speed sensor clip back on to the strut tower, and then there's a little place here for my brake line to go into, and it takes this little C-clip thing to go right behind there to lock it in. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to need two hands, it looks like. Alright, got a jack underneath that. I know it's on the rotor. A lot of people probably will complain about that, but I at least put a piece of wood in there just to move that up a little bit so it's level. And I can put final torque on, like the strut bolts and the tie rod end. Click. Click. Yep, those are good. I got the ball joint tightened back up as well, and let me put a final torque on the tie rod end here. See if I can do it with you guys sitting here or not. I don't know if I can. Let's see. One of the things I learned from this job is that I gotta have a number 18 socket. Come on, get on there. Switch. This is why I need a number 18 socket, because this wrench spins. And there we go. That feels pretty good. Let's get one more little crank on that. Yep. Okay. I think I'm ready to put the wheel back on, set it down on the ground, and tighten that, torque that axle nut to its appropriate torquage. I have a torque wrench for that, which I'll use. Looking pretty good. There we go. Okay. Got the Haynes manual, and it has the specs for torque. So here's the torque for our axle nut right here. 3 stages. First stage, 111 foot-pounds. Second stage, loosen it back by 45 degrees. Third stage, 185 foot-pounds. So, tighten it to 111, back it off by a quarter turn, and then go to 185. Fortunately, my new torque wrench goes to 250, so should not be any trouble getting to it. I like this brand. I'm not sponsored by anybody or anything, but I found that this brand of ratchets and sockets and things have been really good. So I have purchased it from that one online store that shares a name with a jungle, and it's a good price on this too. So it's not digital or anything, so it's a manual one, but it's easy. It's colored, so I can read that. I can even read it without my glasses, but I'll probably still put my glasses on and use that. So I'm pleased to have that. So all right, let's go ahead and get this done. All right, 111. So let's give this a shot. Alright, now I back it off by a quarter turn. Let's see if I can do this with my normal ratchet. So a quarter turn, somewhere around there. There. And now, when I say 185, let me go double check that. And it is 185 for the final torque, which may be 185. Alright. I believe that's all we need to do. What I do with my little plastic cap, I'll find it, stick it back on there. Found it. that's it. I think this job is done. All right, well, I believe this job is done. I do have a couple things left I need to do on this. One is I need to fire it up, let it warm up a little bit, check the transmission fluid. You saw, well, I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if I could get it on the video or not. But when I actually did finally pull the axle out, a pretty fair amount of fluid actually drained out of the transmission, so out of the little where the shaft goes in down there. So I'm going to need to double check that. And honestly, I need to change my transmission fluid. It's pretty brown and it smells a little burnt, so I think it's just time to do that. So I may end up doing that as well. And then take it on a test drive and make sure everything works right. Make sure that the isn't pulling to the left or to the right, or any clicking sounds or anything like that coming from it. Make sure I'm not leaking trans fluid around the axle there where I put that shaft in there. Things like that. Yeah, there's probably more. Oh, I probably need to take this thing and have it checked for alignment as well, because I did mess with the steering components and had that knuckle clear out. It's funny, the Haynes manual doesn't say anything about doing that, but I would be more comfortable if I took it in and had it probably realigned. My steering wheel was straight when I began the job, but that doesn't really always matter because you're messing with all the different geometry that goes on down there. So we need to probably have it checked. So I'll probably take it somewhere where they can check it. It won't be long, and I'll need to put winter tires on this thing anyway. So other than that, that's pretty much all there is to getting the axle out, old axle out, new one in. Probably my biggest struggle with it actually was the axle shaft was stuck pretty well tight into the steering knuckle. So it took me, and I don't even know if I got it all on camera, I actually had to sort of screw the axle nut back on the end and take my heavier hammer and give that thing a couple of good whacks, and it came loose. And then I was able to remove it. The other major struggle I had was just the fact that that knuckle, with the brake stuff still on it, etc., was pretty heavy, yeah, so that was a bit of a struggle, but anyways, I got it. So that's it. I think that's all we've got, and we'll close this one out and we'll go from there. So that's 2008 Saturn Astra, replacing the passenger side or right hand side drive axle, CV axle. This is the damaged end, or actually not damaged, but the leaky end. So I'm thinking about taking it apart and just looking at that joint. Oh. All right. You can see that as soon as I crack that boot off there, or gator if you prefer, it's not really grease anymore. It's pretty much just oil. And that's what was flinging out. The gator itself is not torn. There are no cracks or tears in that. But where it was leaking was actually around where that seal was. So it could be that the clamp was not tight enough anymore, or there could be some small tears or cracks I'm just not able to see without my glasses on. So the joint itself, I'm hoping you can see this. The joint itself doesn't look horrible. There's not like a bunch of dirt or grimy stuff up in there. But it's got yeah, I think it was on its way. Anyways, just a little bonus footage for you. And it's messy bonus footage.